Hey everyone, I've made a bunch of different changes to my computer and desk setup in recent months, which I wanted to talk about in this video because some of those changes are actually going to drive a bunch of videos that are coming out in the future because I've got loads of projects on the go. And as I film this, we're in the middle of September, the school summer holidays have just finished in the UK, which means that instead of spending time with my family on a beach, I'm actually back to the grind of making more videos, which I'm really excited about, even though chilling out on the beach is probably more fun, to be honest. But anyway, the first change that I've made is that last year I had a single micro ATX gaming computer, and then separately to that I had a micro ATX Homelab NAS where I put some NVMe drives and I started playing around with video editing over the network. But that didn't completely work out, so at some point along the line I ended up with two gaming computers, one on AM4 and one on AM5, which was good from a content creation perspective because I could do some really cool comparison videos, but ultimately it was a bit overkill to have one computer barely used. So what I ended up doing was merging those two computers together, and long story short, I made this, which is a white mini ITX build. I absolutely love it. It's got a RTX 5070 Ti in there, and I do my gaming and my video editing all off this. And that works out really, really well. And part of the reason I'm able to fit this on my desk is I've completely changed my monitor setup, because there was a time where I had a vertical monitor which was 1080p, 60 Hz, and then I had a 4K monitor which was this one over there, which is also 60 Hz, and I had that just on a stand, and that sort of worked well, but it did take up quite a lot of space. So what I've recently done is buy a desk clamp where it's clamped just down there. If I just move this for a second, it's clamped just down there, and then I've got movable monitor arms so I can actually move both of my monitors exactly how I would like it, and that's meant it's freed up loads of space and my desk just generally feels a lot cleaner, so that's been a really nice change. Well, it is nice when I can actually get my monitors level, but to be honest, I tend to find, especially when my kids are on here, the monitors end up at a weird angle and things like that, which is really annoying, but it is nice in general to have those monitor arms. The next thing I've changed is that sometimes, obviously, I'm out touching grass, whatever, and there might be times where I want to do video editing, or maybe I'm downstairs keeping an eye on my kids and, maybe I want to quickly check something on a project. And what I've actually done is buy a simple Dell laptop. It's a Dell Inspiron Plus. And actually, for video editing, this is brilliant because I don't actually do the video editing on here. What I do is use a free program called Parsec. So basically, it's like Remote Desktop, but it's more designed for video editing and things like that. So essentially, I have my Parsec server on my white mini ITX computer, and then when I want to do video editing, I can just connect to this from here. And it's surprising. I mean, Parsec's completely free, but it's brilliant. There's no latency or anything like that. I think there is a version you can pay for if you want dual monitor support and 10-bit color or 12-bit color or something, but for what I'm using it for, which is one monitor, which certainly isn't HDR, connecting to this is completely free. And the reason I actually like this Dell laptop is that it's not a simple 1080p screen. I think it's like a 2K screen, and instead of being 16:9, it's not that. I know that's not very technical. I'll put the exact specs on the screen. I think it might be 3:2, but actually this gives me a lot more sort of screen real estate when it comes to do video editing on here. So that's one of the nice changes I've made. The next thing I've done is when I actually come to filming my videos, I've now got two main cameras. I've got a Lumix one that I'm speaking into right now, and I've got a second Sony one which I actually use for overhead shots. So I've actually got an overhead desk clamp that's not here right now, but when I'm doing unboxings and things like that, I've got my Sony camera there pointing downwards. But there are times where actually it would be useful to have a third camera angle. Maybe, if I'm showing something off, maybe it would be useful to actually show that in my hands, or maybe I'd want a second camera angle on this lovely face. Not really, but the point is it might be useful sometimes to have that third camera angle because I'm greedy like that, and actually you'd think that using your mobile phone would be, fine for that, and often it is, but I recently invested in an OBSBOT Tiny 2 Lite, which is a 4K webcam, and at first I was a little bit skeptical, but I tested out the image quality, and actually this beats out my camera, which is really surprising considering this is a lot cheaper than, a mobile phone camera and things like that. But actually having this in my arsenal means that if I ever did want that third camera angle, I can use that. And, this has loads of AI features. I know AI is a buzzword, but this can actually, you can have it to track your face. So as I'm moving around, it could actually track my face, or you can have it set to your hands. So if I'm, like I mentioned, I might do a video where I'm showing something off, I could have that as a third camera angle actually tracking my hands as I show something off, which is pretty cool. So overall, the content creation side of things is coming on really well, other than the fact that I've now completely run out of disk space again. And you might have seen a recent video that I've just released where I talk about my plans for that. that, and that's going to be really epic. I've actually got 4 12TB hard drives arriving tomorrow at the time of filming, and I'm really looking forward to actually doing that Homelab NAS build, so that's going to be a really cool project. But also, I've re-established my love of gaming, and that seems like a really weird, pretentious way of saying things, but I've got 2 fairly young kids. I mean, they're 4 and 6 years old, and there was a time where I'd either be working or, you know, in dad mode, and, you know, I didn't want to just run upstairs and neglect them by playing computer games. So I guess in the past few years, I haven't been playing games as much as I would have liked, but now they're at that age where I can freely neglect them and run up here and play loads of computer games all night, which is absolutely epic. That was a joke before I get cancelled. I don't actually do that, but actually they are at that age where I can start to play some computer games, and like Battlefield 6, I played the open beta and I absolutely loved that, so I've got a pre-order open for Battlefield 6 and I'm really looking forward to diving into that when it's released in October.
A few moments later.
Yes, 10th of October, I doubted myself then for a little bit. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to diving back into that game and bringing more gaming content to this channel because, yeah, as I mentioned towards the start of this video, it's been the summer holidays and some of my recent videos have been more sort of talking head style videos, but I'm really eager to dive back into more builds with my Homelab NAS and more gaming content and things like that. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've said or rambled about in this video, so please do drop me a comment, and thanks for watching this video and thanks for all your support all around. If you wanted to carry on supporting this channel, you could do that by liking this video and hitting the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for watching.